Breaking news in hot pursuit. The charges facing a Tampa woman after she led investigators from 3 different agencies on a high-speed chase through 3 local counties. Plus, getting rid of the wreckage.
This local seafood store is now just a pile of rubble. Why officials say they had no choice but to demolish it.
And wanted and on the run. The battle at the border that left police officers shooting for their lives. 23 minutes of nonstop news, weather, and traffic is just ahead. Fox 30 Action News this morning starts right now.
Live coverage you can count on. Fox 30 Action News at 7 begins with breaking news.
Yeah, we're following multiple breaking local and international stories for you this morning. The first is out of Baker County, where sheriff deputies have just ended in a high-speed chase across 3 counties.
We want to get you right to the scene here this morning. The Baker County Sheriff says this all began when troopers clocked a Tampa woman driving up to 100 miles an hour in Suwannee County. She was also driving the wrong way, headed eastbound in the westbound lanes of I-10. Next, when Florida Highway Patrol troopers got behind the woman, she refused to stop. They followed her through Suwannee east into Columbia County, and that is where Columbia County Sheriff's deputies deployed stop sticks to stop the woman again, but the trooper ran over the stop sticks instead, knocking out all of his tires. The chase then continued further east into Baker County this morning, and that is where Baker County officers were able to stop the woman using stop sticks there. They also say she tried to flee again through the median, but she didn't get far. She was arrested at that scene. We are still working to learn her identity and any possible felony charges. Count on Action News to keep you up to date with any late-breaking information on this story throughout the morning. Right now, the First Alert weather team is tracking showers headed into your weekend. Let's get right over to meteorologist Ariel Nixon, who is tracking isolated storms today. She's going to tell us who's going to see some rain.
Yeah, not everyone will see that rain today. In fact, very few people will see those showers and storms because they will be isolated. Right now, we're starting off with a gorgeous start to your Thursday. Clear skies here from Jax Beach on the HD First Alert Skycam network, and we are going to stay mostly sunny through much of the day today. We do have a little bit of that patchy fog on the west side of Duval County right now. That's where your visibility is down to 7 miles or less, and also a little bit of fog being picked up from JIA, but your visibility up to 8 miles. So far, this hasn't caused any big issues for your morning commute. Right now, temperatures are in the low and mid 70s. We even have 80 degrees in Orange Park, 73 to start the day in downtown Jacksonville. Hour by hour through your Thursday, 81 degrees expected by 9 this morning. We are going to climb into the lower 90s by noon. That's when we'll start to see the heat indices into the upper 90s and triple digits. 96 degrees is your high for today, and we're expecting just isolated showers and storms this afternoon. I'll track those storms for you hour by hour. Also, a look at the tropics and who could see heat indices into the triple digits. The time is now 7:03. Let's get a check on your First Alert traffic.
All right, and we've got a crash working on the west side of town on Blandy Boulevard ramp to 295 southbound on that new service road that runs along 295. Police and rescue are on that scene, causing a little bit of a delay, crowding on Blanding as you try to make your way on to 295. Not really affecting the interstate itself as it's off the interstate, just on that service road. Down in the Clay County, police have arrived on scene at Blandy Boulevard at County Road 215, right where that curve comes in. They are saying some lane blockage still, so watch out for possible delays there in the Middleburg area. Otherwise, pretty quiet. The ride up from St. Augustine to 295, State Road 16 to that interchange, only 18 minutes, looking pretty good. Let's take a live look at the west side so you can take a look at that traffic cam. And there you see the cars off to the side and road rangers blocking a lane, causing a backup on Blanding Boulevard, but the interstate itself is doing okay. That is the very latest from the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center. Linz?
We continue to follow breaking news on the search for a missing passenger plane over Africa this morning. We first told you at 6 that the Air Algeria flight disappeared from radar 50 minutes after takeoff. Well, in the latest news briefing just down in the last 25 minutes, we have learned from Algerian news agencies this plane had been missing for hours before the disappearance was made public today. The plane had taken off from the African nation of Burkina Faso and was headed north to Algeria. That distance is about 2,300 miles. And new this morning from the plane's owner, we now know 116 people were on board. That's 110 passengers and 6 crew members. The airline company says they have now activated their emergency plan. Right now, the plane's flight path is not not immediately clear, but as you can see from this map, where the plane departed from in Burkina Faso is a direct line north headed to Algeria. Algeria is a northern African border country in between Morocco and Libya. That possible flight path does pass over Mali, where civil unrest continues. Mike?
All right, Lindsay, it's 7:05 right now. This morning, a pile of rubble is all that remains after a Coca-Cola truck crashed into this fish market building in downtown Jacksonville Wednesday evening. While you were sleeping, Action News was on the scene all night monitoring the demolition of this building. This is how it all started on Wednesday. You can see the front of the truck completely buried into that building, and the truck had to be pulled out of the building on Beaver Street, and it took some time. Yeah, because crews were working. Everything was falling apart as they were doing it as soon as that truck moved. Crews worked late into the night so they could flatten the building as well before rush hour traffic. Action News' Jesse McDonough joins us live from the demolition site on Beaver Street and Myrtle Avenue. And Jesse, crews were afraid the traffic would actually cause the building to collapse.
Yeah, Mike, emergency crews were calling it a major safety concern. And if you look over my right shoulder, you can see why. This was a historic seafood store, and now it is just a pile of rubble. Look to the left. This road here, Rushing Street, is also closed down. Police were worried that these bricks could fall into the street, causing another danger for drivers. Take a look at this video. It shows the building collapsing as crews work to stabilize it while removing this truck from the front of it. JFRD says there was some kind of crash involving a Coca-Cola truck and a JTA bus seconds before a semi came barreling through the building, causing diesel to leak into the drains. And we talked to the sister of the worker who was inside the store at the time of the crash. Here's what she had to say about the building demolition.
I'm worried about my brother, but I'm also worried about the owner, you know, because it's his business, it's his life.
And we will have more sound from neighbors coming up in the next half hour, so stay with us. We'll be back in a few minutes. Live just west of downtown, Jesse McDonough, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News.
Jesse, thank you. This is the third wreck involving a commercial truck in our area. In Callahan, a semi and a car collided Wednesday morning on County Road 108. The driver of the car was killed. This morning, the driver of the semi is waiting to hear if he will face charges for going too fast for conditions on that roadway. And 3 workers at the Brunswick port were killed when their car slammed into a semi on Jekyll Island Road just before noon yesterday. Troopers say tire tracks show where both vehicles ended up off the side of the road. Investigators say the driver of the car turned right into the path of the semi.
Breaking news right now from overnight. This is out of Iraq, where Iraqi officials say 52 prisoners and 8 soldiers were killed in an attack on a prison convoy. Now, this attack just happened about 12 miles north of Baghdad. The attack started at a prison where accused terrorists are being held. Jail officials were afraid of the jailbreak, so they tried to transfer the inmates when roadside bombs went off. In addition to the 60 people that were killed, 8 soldiers and 7 prisoners were also wounded. New this morning, 13 children are dead following a crash in southern India. Police say a train crashed into a student school bus while at an unmanned railroad crossing. 16 others were injured. They were between the ages of 7 and 14 years old.
It's 7:08 this morning. A Ware County woman is in jail right now, charged with murdering a 3-year-old little boy left in her care. Our Don Lopez is in the studio. And Don, we talked with this woman's husband who says his wife is getting a raw deal, but police have their speculation.
That's right, and you're taking a look at a picture of little Malachi and the suspect. Malachi Smith died at the hospital Sunday, days before he was supposed to be returned to Illinois. Well, during the autopsy, the medical examiner reported they noticed signs of abuse. And now 42-year-old Karina Wharton is in jail, charged with murder. And at this hour, she's making her first court appearance right now in Ware County. We just confirmed that for you. We spoke with her husband, who says Malachi was one of 3 children the couple was watching this summer. He says Malachi's mother and his wife's daughter are friends. He says his wife would never hurt a child.
They got in her head that she beat that kid, and I know she didn't.
We reached out to our sister station in Illinois on the story, and we've learned that little Malachi was developmentally disabled. Right now, Karina Wharton, again, is being housed at the Ware County Jail without bond, but she is right now in court. We'll bring you the very latest on her hearing as soon as it comes in. Mike?
Don, thank you. The family of a man gunned down at the Regency gas station tells Action News police have made an arrest related to his murder. We checked with Jacksonville police, but they're refusing to confirm right now. The family says that Nicholas Stoner was one of the two men involved. We confirmed through court records that Nicholas Stoner faces charges of murder and accessory after the fact. Now, we asked police for the arrest report, which is public record. They sent us these documents redacted with most of the information. Police are not confirming if Stoner's arrest is indeed connected to this case. In the meantime, family and friends are saying their goodbye to 21-year-old Nazad Batanich, and he was laid to rest Wednesday afternoon.
7:10 this morning, a nuisance 6 brazen burglars bear it all in Southwest Florida. 3 nearly naked men broke into a beach house restaurant at 3 o'clock in the morning Wednesday. After roaming around in the kitchen area, the men took off their underwear. Police say they then stole hamburger meat and red peppers. Then they ran away. No arrests have been made.
The Jacksonville Jaguars will kick off the start of training camp with a luncheon this afternoon at Everbank Field. Players don't officially report until tomorrow, but many of them have been at Everbank all week so far. You can count on Action News to cover the Jaguars training camp from start to finish. Action Sports Director Brent Martineau will join us live tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with a preview of what we can expect from the Big Cats this year.
Now, your weather and traffic on the ones.
Good morning, everyone. We have a gorgeous sunrise photo for you sent to us from Douglas Woodard. This is from the Ortega River. You can send me your weather and sunrise photos, sunset photos on Twitter at Nixon First Alert. Sorry about that. At Nixon First Alert. That's my Twitter handle. Love to see your weather photos. Right now, temperatures are in the low and mid 70s. 73 degrees to start your day in Jacksonville. 75 on the south side, and even 80 degrees this morning in Orange Park. The hour-by-hour forecast for today, we're going to jump up to the upper 80s by 11 o'clock, 90s for your lunchtime and the afternoon. We'll see a high today of 96. It's going to feel more like 105 to 110 degrees, though, in some spots. And we're also expecting isolated storms. I'll show you where to expect those storms coming up in the First Alert forecast. 7-11, time for a check on your First Alert traffic.
Right now in the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center, tracking this crash on Blanding as you make your way on the 295 southbound. This is that new service road that runs along Blanding Boulevard before you get onto the interstate there. So our lane is blocked on that ramp, but on the interstate itself, things are still okay. As you see, your travel time not bad. So getting on from Blanding on the 295, you may find some delays there. And then down in Clay County, police have arrived on the scene and they've updated the location of this crash. It's on County Road 215, just south of Blanding Boulevard. So Blanding's okay. 215, you may find some delays getting onto Blanding Boulevard. That's the very latest. Remember, once you get in your car, you can get traffic updates on the go on News 104.5 WOKV. Mike?
Derek, thank you. New from overnight, an imminent and concrete threat from terrorists threatened Norway this morning. Now, intelligence officials say they received it from reliable sources. Norwegian investigators say the terror threat is tied to Islamic fighters in Syria. Last month, about 50 people traveled to Syria from Norway as foreign fighters. Half of those have returned back to Norway. Intelligence officials say the attack is threatened within days, but so far, no target has been identified.
New this morning, U.S. government officials are giving the all-clear for U.S. flights to travel now into Tel Aviv. The temporary ban was put into place Tuesday after a rocket strike landed near Israel's main airport in Tel Aviv. Meanwhile, Air France and Germany's 2 largest airlines are canceling their flights to the major city. Pro-Russian rebels are claiming responsibility for the downing of 2 Ukrainian military fighter jets. Both jets were shot down Wednesday morning in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say the pilots ejected, but so far they haven't released any information about their conditions.
Both of those planes were hit just 20 miles south of the wreckage from Malaysian Flight 17, which was shot down last Thursday. Forensic investigators in the Netherlands are now working to identify the remains of some of the 298 victims whose bodies arrived on Wednesday. More are expected to arrive today. In the meantime, investigators still trying to figure out who was responsible for downing that Boeing 777.
7:14 this morning, President Obama is assessing if the National Guard should be deployed to help with the border crisis. We told you earlier this week that Texas Governor Rick Perry was going to deploy 1,000 National Guard troops to the U.S.-Mexican border. A White House officials say they are working closely with the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense on how to respond to the growing number of unaccompanied immigrant children. The DHS has yet to make a request request for assistance.
7:14. In the meantime, House Republicans say they're putting the finishing touches on the border crisis plan, and the price tag is a fraction of the president's request. Now, on Wednesday, House Speaker John Boehner said Republicans are working on a $1.5 billion proposal. He didn't mention specifics, but hinted that any deal would need to include changing a 2008 law to speed up deportations of undocumented children.
Listen, what the president's asking for is a blank check. He wants us to just throw more money at the problem without doing anything to solve the problem.
House Republicans are also likely to request boosting National Guard troops at the border.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio is defending his support for traditional marriage. He gave a speech on Wednesday at the Catholic University of America. Senator Rubio noted that President Obama did not back same-sex marriage until he ran for re-election.
Supporting the definition of marriage as one man and one woman is not anti-gay. It is pro-traditional marriage. And if support for traditional marriage is bigotry, then Barack Obama was a bigot until just before the 2012 election.
Senator Rubio also talked about his opposition to abortion, saying women should have a support network and be given opportunities to place a baby up for adoption.
President Obama's approval rating is holding steady, even though it's fairly low. A new CNN International survey released on Wednesday shows 42% of Americans believe the president can manage the government effectively. His approval rating in March was 43%. His numbers started to drop in 2013 following the controversies over Edward Snowden, the IRS targeting conservative political groups, and the botched rollout of the Affordable Care Act.
The head of the Centers for Disease Control lab that had an anthrax scare last month has now resigned. According to a CDC spokesman, Michael Farrell stepped down on Tuesday. The CDC says last month, scientists at the lab failed to completely deactivate live anthrax samples for use in 2 other CDC labs, potentially exposing dozens of workers to the deadly bacteria. According to an investigative report, the lab did not use an approved sterilization technique.
7:16 right now. Congress is working to work out new legislation to make passengers safer on cruise ships. Now, on Wednesday, a California woman told lawmakers about how she was sexually assaulted during a trip on board a cruise ship. She says passengers have virtually no rights or protections. No word on if Congress will pass the legislation before they recess for summer.
The plan to curb hazing on college campuses has hit a snag in Washington. Orlando area Congressman Alan Grayson wants to block financial aid for students convicted of hazing. He tried to attach that plan to an education funding bill up for debate this week in the House, but the Rules Committee blocked it, saying it was unrelated to the bill. Representative Grayson says he is building support to pass his idea later.
We hold the purse strings. We decide who gets these student loans, who doesn't, and we shouldn't hand them out without paying attention to who actually is receiving them.
Representative Grayson says right now the federal government is rewarding criminal behavior.
A police shootout was caught on camera in Texas. Police exchanged gunfire with a man near the Mexican border. That man was wanted for murder. A lot of firepower right there. It happened Tuesday in La Jolla. 2 law enforcement officers were shot. Both are expected to make a full recovery. In the video, you can see one of those officers in a little bit of pain after his bulletproof vest protecting him from a bullet was hit. In the end, the murder suspect was killed by police.
Also caught on camera, newly released video shows a massive gust of wind tossing furniture, even a small doghouse with a dog inside. This all happened Monday in Augusta, Georgia. The National Weather Service is now looking into this gustnado caused by a thunderstorm. The good news is the family's pets are all okay this morning.
Now, your first alert forecast. Jacksonville's most accurate.
And that gustnado is an interesting phenomena. It's a gust front, so a gust of wind, and then you get a little bit of rotation on an end of that gust front, causing a small and short-lived tornado. Good thing those family pets are okay this morning. Right now, we do have a little bit of patchy fog, lowered visibility on the west side of Duval County, where it's down to 7 miles or less, though that is not really causing any issues on your roadways this morning. Right now, temperatures range from the low 70s inland at 71 in Gainesville, 73 in Lake City, to the upper 70s along the coast, where we have 76 in St. Augustine, all the way up to 77 in Brunswick, and this morning in Jacksonville, 73 degrees to start your Friday Eve. Right now, we have mostly clear skies over the downtown area. It's a calm start to the day, and we're really just expecting some isolated storms later on, so much of the day will be mostly sunny. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast starting off at 8:30 this morning. Mostly clear skies out there, and that's going to be the case all the way into 1 o'clock. Still no rain in the forecast through 1, but by 3, 4, and 5 o'clock, we start to see isolated showers and storms developing. I do expect most of these storms will stay south of I-10. They will push east across the area and begin to push off the coast by 7 o'clock. We will still have a few of those isolated showers and storms in the area for your evening commute. So don't be surprised if you see some rain or even some pockets of heavy rain. But generally, the coverage of our storms will be lower than what we saw earlier in the week and also weaker than what we saw earlier in the week. By 9 o'clock, partly cloudy skies out there. And we'll see skies clearing through the overnight and into early Friday. We are looking at one of the hottest days of the week so far here for today. We're going to see temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 90s, but heat indices will be in the triple digits. This is the hour-by-hour forecast for that feels like temperature or the heat index. It's going to feel as warm as mid and upper 90s by noon today. Those temperatures, though, or those feels like temperatures, will top out in the triple digits later on this afternoon. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of our heat indices from Lake City towards Stark, our inland communities, will feel as hot as 105 to even 110 degrees. And even into 7:30 this evening, still feeling like the 90s out there. So certainly going to be a hot one. Make sure you, your kids, and your pets are staying hydrated. We are still tracking the tropics. What was tropical depression number 2 has weakened. It weakened yesterday afternoon, no longer classified as a tropical depression. Now just watching the remnants as they bring some showers and storms to parts of the Lesser Antilles. Still no expected impact here for us at home. Mostly sunny to start the day. Through 8 o'clock this morning, temperatures are going to jump up into the mid and upper 70s. By noon, mostly sunny and 90 degrees. That's when we start to feel those heat indices climbing to nearly 100 degrees. And by 5 o'clock, we will see those heat indices into the triple digits for sure. Isolated showers and storms will continue into the early evening before they push off the coast nearly 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, though, storms will be more widespread. We'll expect scattered storms again on Saturday afternoon, then back down to isolated coverage by Sunday with highs in the mid-90s Sunday and again on Monday. The time is now 7:21. Let's get a check on your First Alert traffic with Derek Odom.
And right now in the Safe Touch Security First Alert Traffic Center, we're giving this scene a yellow light because it's blocking a lane on the ramp, that new long ramp on Blanding Boulevard before you get onto 295 southbound. So causing congestion on Blanding heading for 295 in that right lane on the off-ramp, but on the interstate itself, still looking pretty good. 13 minutes from I-10, passing Blanding all the way down to the top of the Buckman Bridge. Right at US 17, no crowding as of yet by NAS Jax, 50 miles per hour, your real-time traffic speed right now. I-10 eastbound, not really building up too much right now, 6 minutes from 295 into the Fuller Warren Bridge, and on the Fuller Warren, a little bit of stopping on traffic right here out of that construction zone, 30 miles per hour. Live look at the mobile traffic cam heading down 10 eastbound, heading for the 295 interchange, and no major problems here to report. You're in the car like the mobile traffic cam. Make sure you tune in to News 104.5 WOKV for your latest traffic updates. That's the latest. Mike, back to you.
Derek, thank you. We're staying on top of some breaking news stories, multiple breaking news stories right now. High-speed car chase through 3 local counties. How one trooper's tool ended up working against him.
Plus, another passenger plane disappears this morning. The number of passenger and crew on board and where search teams are now looking.
Plus, a man is shot in the stomach after an apparent misfire. The investigation underway to find out if the shooting was an accident.